The concept of forgiveness, atonement, and redemption are somewhat of a staple in anime and manga, especially in shonen series. And there are some characters that are so heinous, so villainous, that they should never be forgiven for their actions. Even if they are redeemed, everyone that was harmed by them should want to put them in a secluded room with Kid Buu, the Hulk, the Great Rabbit from ReZero, and Kenpachi. I'm joking. Kind of. These characters have done some insane things just for them to have suffered no real punishment for their actions, and I'm here to talk about them. Heavy spoilers for these three shows. Let's start off with Orochimaru, because this man should not be allowed to walk around freely, or at bare minimum near the village. Orochimaru in Part 1 Naruto and Shippuden was a menace, and needed to be stopped. Bro was a horror movie villain. This man was really out here doing human experiments on anyone he could yoink, snatching bodies and wearing people's skin like Gucci, attempted to destroy the Hidden Leaf Village, turned the third Hokage into a hashtag in the bio. Actually, that's not so bad. Like, look, if you read the manga, you probably feel more love for Hiruzen, but if you only watch the anime and experience some of Shippuden's little filler additions and retcons, Hiruzen's either dog shit at his job or simply just an asshole. The Uchiha massacre, while not entirely his fault, it happened under his rule, and it doesn't matter that Obito tells Sasuke that it isn't Hiruzen's fault. He was in charge, so he holds that L for being a horrible domestic diplomat, or failing to keep Danzo in his place. Shit, or both. Then bro catches Orochimaru red-handed doing human experiments and decided to just let him go because of his love. He could have stopped all the impending doom right there, but no. Last but not least, my glorious Queen Kushina told Hiruzen to protect Naruto, which he responds, just for Hiruzen to have my boy Naruto living in Section 8 housing while Sasuke was in a penthouse suite. Naruto was really out in the wilderness having to fend for himself, going fishing and shit. And this fraud has the nerve to eat his food? You old bastard? We smoking on that Sarutobi pack to this day. To this day! All jokes aside, I do like Hiruzen, but he got some explaining to do. Now, back to the matter at hand. Where was I? Oh yeah, he turned the third Hokage into the past tense and then bit a little boy's neck.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, matter of fact, Orochimaru was still a villain. He really gave Sasuke a hickey on his neck to make Sasuke want to follow him for power. Whole time he just wanted to snatch his body. Orochimaru basically gave Sasuke the ultimatum.
I like you and I want you. Now we can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way.
And Sasuke picked the hard way. Also, he was trying to keep it in the family because he originally wanted Itachi's body. Like, Orochimaru was so evil, he made the big bad evil group in the show seem kinda tame. Let's also not forget his experiments on dozens of children when he was trying to make one of them gain Hashirama's wood style jutsu. Like, all the kids got spliffed besides Yamato. Another thing is, yes, he slimed out the third Hokage and was attempting to destroy the village. He also slimed out the fourth Kazekage just so he could infiltrate the village perfectly. No lie, Orochimaru might really be the perfect villain because his resume is stacked. Now, with all this being said, if you asked me while watching OG Naruto if Orochimaru would either be dead or jailed by the end of the story, I would have said yes. And never in a million years would I think that he would just be able to walk free, living his best life. Bro was allowed to walk freely in the village where he smoked their ninja president and almost nuked off the map, and then he gets to attend Naruto's wedding. Like, look, sure, in the war arc, he saved the 5 Kages from getting put on a t-shirt, and he even brought back the 4 previous Hokages to assist in the war. But that doesn't void all the inhumane deeds he did. Of course, this is just comic relief in the anime, because this does not happen in the manga. He was not at the wedding. But this is hilarious. Like, at the end of the day, even though he has turned over a new leaf and is helping research Kaguya and the Otosutsukis in general, he is still a villain and has gotten no real consequences. Like, Orochimaru should never be forgiven for any of his actions, but at least he's being helpful. Now, this one might stir up the pot a little bit, because Akito Soma from Fruit Baskets, there should have been no way she basically got away with everything. Some of you might say, oh, her punishment was the breaking of the cycle. Oh, hurt people hurt people. She was a victim as well. All valid points. But, like, I'm not looking for Akito to be sent to the Shadow Realm. I'm not even looking for her to be jailed. All I'm saying is a few sweet chin musics, a couple of Batista bombs would've went a long way. Like, come on, she was abusive to Yuki, Kyo, Momoji, and Kisa. Stabbed Hattori's eye, making him partially blind. Pushed Rin off the balcony and stabbed both Kureno and Toru.
'Cause I'm evil.
by herself, she single-handedly caused years of childhood trauma and mental abuse to her family, trying to make them feel that they can never be loved by anyone else besides her. Like, the reason she pushed Rin off the balcony in the first place is because she was finding love and was dating Haru. She really is a D1 hater. Now look, I understand that the biggest punishment or consequence for Akito would be the dissolving of the curse, since that is pretty much her entire identity. Yes, this happens, and that's great because the main cast get the chance to actually move forward and go on with their lives. Of course, a majority of the family chose to not forgive her or to just let it go, while Toru and Kureno actually chose to forgive her. But what about me, the reader? I need Toru, the most benevolent and nicest MC ever, to push that to the side for the moment and let the whole cast put her in a never-ending conundrum of fisticuffs. Of course this won't happen, but a man could dream. Momiji basically lets Akito know that she's only safe because they forgave her. I'll also mention that even though I am saying she should have gotten a real punishment from the Zodiacs, within the confines of the story, it makes sense why she did it, and I don't dislike the series any less for it. With this said, I do think she deserves happiness and to be considered redeemable in the end. Because in Fruit Basket's Another, it's kind of mentioned that she gives total freedom to the Zodiacs, makes sure that they're not involved in the Soma family's business, and she completely isolates herself from them, even though she still doesn't want to see them. Like, I could truly respect someone atoning for their sins and trying to be a better person. I just think that before all the redeeming and the forgiving, she should have caught a couple of black flashes for the cast troubles. Now, let me introduce you to a character that I feel the exact opposite of. Full stop. No ifs, no ands, no buts. Miranjo from Ranking of Kings should have been put in a body bag. Ranking of Kings was a great show that aired back in the fall season of 2021, and it featured one of my favorite MCs. My boy Boji is deaf and can't say a word, but everything he tries to say, I understand. If he laughs, I laugh. If he cries, I cry. I will go to war for Boji. I say all of this to set up the fact that Boji's my guy, and anyone that wrongs him will be my enemy. Now let's get back to this
nasty smelling fat bitch.
Miranjo, after spending decades with Boss, who is Boji's father, stages a coup and kills Boji's mom. Spends years manipulating Data, who is Boji's brother. She then tricks him into drinking some gabagool, which is basically a Boss smoothie that forces his soul to take over Data's body. She then tries to kill Queen Hilling, one of Boji's only real support systems, by releasing 6 criminals that were locked up in the underworld. Then, to top it all off, through her dealings with the devil and Boss, they robbed Boji of all his innate abilities, making him the way he currently is today. Screw Miranjo. She deserves no form of happiness in her life. And of course, the pity party's gonna come and say that all the evil things done to her in her life is enough to pay for her actions later in life.
Fuck no, baby!
Now look, she did go through some crazy shit in her life. Like the Yakuza people betraying her and her mother, then killing her mom, and then they had the nerve to cut off both her hands and rip off her face. Thank the Lord that Boss killed everyone that was there, cause they were genuinely just pure evil. So then Boss pretty much adopts her as his daughter, and after saving her from a leap of faith without a safe place to land, she understandably gets an unhealthy obsession with Boss. And after realizing that Boss is dying and can't be healed, she decides that the logical option is to kill his wife, Boji's mom, so that Boss can have another child that can be used as a vessel for his resurrection. Like, her backstory is tragic, but none of it excuses any of her actions. At best, you should feel sympathy, but there is no way to forgive her actions. I have rewatched Ranking of Kings twice since its release, and to this day, I can't buy her so-called redemption. Like, cool, she kind of apologized for her actions, and maybe she could do something in the future that makes her actually redeemable. But as it stands, she gets zero punishment for any of her actions. Which really makes this bad is that this bozo, Data, really decides to marry her.
Huh?
She really gets forgiven by Data and Boji without doing anything to earn said forgiveness. And in the end, she gets rewarded for the chaos she caused by getting married to the child she manipulated for years. Like, the reason I'm more positive on Akito opposed to Miranjo is that Akito at least makes a good effort to earn the Zodiac's forgiveness and be redeemable. Miranjo just gets to go off scot-free. Honestly, I'm more positive on Orochimaru because he isn't forgiven by anyone. Naruto and everyone else decided to keep him alive because he did aid inside the war. And once again, Miranjo harms Boji and the rest of the cast and gets to live her best life with Data. I'll end it by saying Miranjo is a good character, but this little forgiveness stunt is insane. I originally was just gonna make a joke video about Orochimaru getting off scot-free, but it made me think of other characters in a similar situation. Of course, all this is subjective. You could forgive all of these characters if you felt like it, feel like they all did their atonement or had their redemption. Personally, no, they cannot be forgiven. But hey, and to people that made it this far, I want to thank you for all your support. And also, have you guys seen this Hitman Reborn 20th anniversary trailer? I need this to be a continuation of the anime, because I might have manifested this in my 2006 version of my best anime year series. Anyways, thanks for watching the video, and I hope you all have a great day.